This is the Reds Down Under podcast, the best place to follow the Reds in Australia. Enjoy the show.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast. Hello, Reds. This is the weekly show. This is Reds Down Under. I'm Tom. I'm your regular host. This week I've got our kid in Brisbane, drinking from the world's biggest water bottle. How you doing, mate?
Gotta stay hydrated, man. Gotta be hydrated, stay hydrated. Yeah, I'm good. It's nice to be back. You've had Jacob, Joel. If you could get Jesus on to replace me, you would, wouldn't you? But I'm back, mate.
Yeah, he's the only fella who could replace you, to be fair.
Thanks.
And we've got me mum on. We'll reveal a little bit more in a second, but we've got me mum on this week as well.
How was that?
It was a nightmare for me. She was really interesting, but you know what it's like talking to me ma.
Trying to get it off the phone.
God.
No, that's nice. So that's coming up in this episode as well, yeah?
Yeah, so that'll be at the end. So thank you to everyone who's been following the pod so far. I was in Cheers Bar last night, watching the Merseyside derby, watching Liverpool beat Everton, and to speak to so many people, just Reds in general. But there was lots of people in there who come and said hello to talk about the podcast, because obviously we had the podcast t-shirts on, Jack.
Yeah,
obviously.
and there's posters all around. Cheers.
Yeah, and there's posters all around Cheers. So thank you to Cheers Bar, and it was absolutely bouncing in there. It was as close you could get to being back in Liverpool watching the game. It was unbelievable last night. Massive thank you to Red Bull Ventures, who are our production partner. And what production partner means is they helped us get set up, they loaned us kit, and they were always there for support and advice. So thank you so much to Adrian and Red Bull Ventures. Jack, should we chat about what's going to come up on the pod?
Yeah, tell us about it, lad. Tell us about it.
Tell us about it, mate. Yeah, okay. So we've got that Merseyside derby review, and what a win it was against Everton. Last night it was for us, Jack, which was nice to get a 9:30 kickoff in on a Saturday. It was beautiful. We did chat about Southampton in the League Cup a little bit last week with Joel, or Jacob, sorry, but we will just touch on it
Jesus.
again. Yeah, as the game will be tomorrow for you, as this podcast comes out on Tuesday. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Then we played Crystal Palace, which is a really tough game in the Premier League as well, Jack. They're doing really well at the minute, Crystal Palace. I think they're currently fourth as it stands. There's still games to be played this weekend. We'll be touching on a little bit of news as well. There's been some news coming out the club this week, which is really significant and important. And then we'll finish off with a section that I recorded with me ma. And as I say, it was a pain for me, but you'll really enjoy it, I think. So, my mum, as a Scouse girl growing up in Liverpool, you know, was standing on the carp and travelling around the country to go and watch Liverpool in a time where it might not have been so accessible for young women. So that's a really interesting one, Jack. So she talks about that cup final against Everton. So we'll have that at the very end of the show. Jack, before we move on, we spoke a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I've got this idea for the podcast, and it will be like a running section, and the running section will be things that I just will always find funny, right?
Yeah.
And Jack was like, oh yeah, that sounds fun. So I'm going to start us off this week, Jack, with the first version of it. And something which is really childish, but I will never not find funny, is driving past the golf course and beeping my horn just as people go to hit the shot.
Shot 4.
Yeah, it's so petty, but it's really funny. Every time I do it, I think it's really funny.
It's the childish things, man, that keep you going. So, yeah, one, like the driving one. So I was driving the other day, and I had Gustavo, who's Colombian, and Henry, who's from New Zealand. And he's a big mouldy bloke, great, two great fellas. and I'm driving, and I beeped and I waved at someone walking oncoming, and they waved back. And Gus was like, "Bobby, do you know that man?" I was like, no.
No, it's beep beep wave.
Yeah, it's beep beep wave. And I was like, no, we used to do it in the car with my dad. Because people can't help, because they're like, it must be so-and-so on the way back. People cannot help but wave back. I said to Gus, he's got young kids, I was like, go and do it with them, they'll love it. They'll think it's hilarious. So yeah, those childish things that do keep you going. If anyone's got any, send them in, actually. We'll read them
Yeah.
off, that could be a good thing.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll put a post up this week, and I'll ask people to respond to the post. But yeah, anything that you always just find funny is the point. Childish things that never stop being funny. All right, Jack, let's talk about the footy.
The derby.
The derby, la. I went to Cheers Bar. How did you watch it? How are you feeling? Because you've been on death's door, haven't you?
Sunstroke. Heat stroke.
Our kid's got a bit of heat stroke. I haven't heard the end of it.
So been really good with me water, since I've become an absolute gym fiend, since I've been running the gyms of Brisbane. And Friday I had to start work. I was in work at like 2 a.m, early start, and then it was so hot, didn't get enough water, had a few beers when I got home, and then just passed out, woke up so ill. Do you remember when we were in America, when we were kids, we were in Florida, and we'd been to theme parks, and I'd just been drinking like Gatorade all day. I vomited all night, and it was Gatorade because I had heat stroke. I had a fever. I was so hot. Yeah, and it happened again. It got me again. So yesterday, I couldn't get out of bed. And literally, I watched the derby on my iPad on my lap in bed while you were all in Cheers Bar getting recognised. Oh, the podcast, the podcast. And I was in bed trying not to pass out. But yeah, no, the derby was good, man. I was actually, I don't know, I'm getting more and more nervous for derbies. Because I know
like
what
flying,
it means for
isn't
them
it?
to win.
It's like flying. I never used to be scared of flying as a kid, and now I get a little bit nervous in the airport and that. It's probably because I always get checked at security as well.
Just profiling, isn't it? It's all about it. But it's genuinely, man, like, I was a bit... You asked me about what you thought the predictions were going to be, and I was like, I can just see them beating us in the last minute. After what we've done those first 4 games in the European game as well, getting that last late winning anyway, I was like, I bet you they do it to us. And then we'll know how it feels. Did you hear that bang?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my washing outside. It just blew off the line.
All your work gear's got shit on it now and everything.
Gone everywhere.
There'll be a
God, I miss Sydney.
There'll be a stick in them trousers when you pick them up, but no change there. Jack, what the big thing that stood out to me, mate, before kick-off was that Florian Wirtz was dropped to the bench for the game. Are you surprised at that?
Not really. God, it is windy out there. Not really. So this could be the last call we ever have. It's so windy out there. Oh, my days. Sorry. I'm apologising for the weather. I thought with Wirtz it was interesting, but I'm not totally surprised because when we played Newcastle earlier on in the season, that was a bit of it was an emotional game for their players and the way they played and the way they were into it. And I felt like he kind of was like, oh my God, what's this? You know what I mean? The difference in that physicality and temperament of opposition players. And I actually think with it being Everton, being a derby, they hate us, whatever. It was kind of just like, instead of letting him be there and getting nailed on his first couple of tackles and letting him build, it was kind of like, no, we'll introduce him into this game a bit later on and just let him see what the game's like before he gets into it and is getting nailed everywhere. Why is this a kind of gay?
Well, a kind of gay, mate. He's pulling up trees and he's still 36. Like he's still doing it, isn't he?
When Jim Beglin was like, "Can you believe he's 36?" I was like, no, I didn't think he was that old.
I
Didn't
was
think he
like,
was that old.
shit, I'm 34, like.
You know, there was a point in that game as well. Like, look, we're giving him his credit. He played well. There was a point in the second half where, like, all our players were behind the ball, were defended in the 2-1. And he's got the ball and he had so much space. And I'm like, why are you letting a 36-year-old have that much space in the midfield? The old man. But yeah, he played all right. Everton weren't awful. The way we started, we were so intense that first 10 minutes, though.
Yeah, look, Everton certainly weren't pushovers, mate, worthy. I'd love to talk to you about our kid's taking all his jewellery off, he's going to bed. Ryan Gravenberch, Jack, is he on form, the best midfielder in the Premier League at the moment?
It was interesting. Like, that first half, I was watching him and I was like, he's so unbelievable. And it's so unexpected, isn't it? That he would turn into this amazing deep line midfielder. Like, none of us thought that when we signed him. We just knew we were getting an energetic Dutch midfielder from Bayern. Like, not that. Klopp didn't think it was going to be that. And he's just turned into this unbelievable player. And it's so amazing when you think, if Zubimendi would have accepted our offer, you'd never see that. You'd never see Ryan Gravenberch turn into this player. But yeah, his goal, Tom, was just... I'm watching it in bed, and the way he takes that shot, I just went, fucking get it! I was bouncing around my room. But he's something special, man. Something special. Especially that first half, Tom, what was you thinking with him? How impressed were you?
I was talking to Adam about this, our mate back in the UK, and I was saying this morning when I spoke to him, what I really like about him is he's really good at stepping forward on the ball, actually. Like, we've sort of made him into a whole midfielder, but actually he is a box-to-box midfield player. And his ability to train a player, beat a man, absolutely unbelievable. To be honest, mate, when we got the second goal there, I thought the first two goals were great. Ekitike's goal was great. I thought we were going to go and steamroll them, actually, and it never quite worked out that way. Were you feeling a little bit nervous there at the end of the game?
Yeah, it's one of them because all season, I say we've played 6 games of football so, all season. But that 2-0 lead, and then we're going to throw this away, and then coming back late. Like, that's all great, getting those last minute winners. It is unbelievable. But when you see your defence just kind of throwing away the 2-0s, and it is hard to watch, especially because I think when Ekitike's goal was unbelievable. And what I love about him as well, Tom, which I'd like to speak a little bit on, he does all the really simple things well. He gets to the ball first before the defender. He knocks it on well. He plays well. And you'd never doubt him in front of goal. So what I'm starting to realise, like I was comparing him in my head to Torres and the things Torres would do on the pitch. And I think now, the older I'm getting, the more I just want a player to do what he's there to do. You're a defender, stop the other team scoring. You're a striker, get goals. And it genuinely made me think of Jota, because we looked at Jota and there was no way Jota used to fit into our systems or our teams. But he would go and do his job of getting goals, being the man for the moment. I think Ekitike's got that. He's the man for the moment. But yeah, I think especially after they got that goal, it was a bit nervy and they were all on top of us. And I do actually, Evertonians kicking off about who was it who got booked for the quick free kick?
Jack Grealish, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Shrewsbury Hall. Yeah, I think that was a bit harsh.
Look, that was a bullshit call. Like, it was absolute bullshit. Like, taking a quick free kick. taking a quick free kick, right, and getting booked for it when you're losing the game is bonkers, because the only thing that happens is actually you get penalised
Game.
with time.
Yeah.
Because the referee
Yeah.
goes, no, bring that back. And everyone goes,
Yeah.
oh, and you waste 10, 15 seconds, like.
Yeah. It's like getting booked for being offside. It's like, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. So yeah, I do feel a little bit threatened. I was like, I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen there is that the referees alliance, or whatever they call them these days, the PGMOL, will come out and apologise for that, basically, and that'll be rescinded. But it obviously had no effect on the game, but it is hilarious because Everton fans will really hold on to that as well. Jack, we put out a post on socials asking people for their predictions, and Joel Slee and Big Rig
Big league.
guessed it right, 2-1. So well done.
What we should do every time we mention Big Rig, we should go, huh, huh.
Or sound like we're lifting a weight. Big Rig. Big Rig pushes it to the limit.
Like that.
Well, you're going to have the chance to do that soundbite in a second, Jack. Big Rig, thanks so much for supporting us. And well done to Joel Slee as well, who guessed that one correctly. Jack, I'd love to touch quickly as well before we move on to news and fancy football. I'd love to touch on that Atletico Madrid game. This is a Reds Down Under announcement for all supporters. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on TikTok, Facebook and Instagram, give us a review on Spotify, Apple and Amazon. Thank you. An absolutely massive win in the Champions League, mate, and a tough one to start with. Atletico, and 3 points is huge, eh?
Yeah, especially against them, because they do feel like our bogey team, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, that's really there, like, and that Lorente, is it? For them, he's like Giroud. When Giroud would play against us and he'd score.
He's worth signing,
is
isn't
what
he,
it
just
is.
to get him off our back, like.
Yeah, it's like the Benteke signing all over again. But yeah, look, I thought us going 2-0 up again in that one. Robertson's one was fortunate. Salah obviously moments of magic. But yeah, we let them get back into it. But again, Gravenberch in that game was unbelievable. We did well to frustrate Atleti, which is good to see. Obviously, that with the fan and Simeone and getting sent off at the end and all that. Like, it's rare you can frustrate Atleti because that's what they do to you. They look for reactions and look for it all. But yeah, I thought we played really well. Obviously, they got back into it. The first one was quite fortunate. Obviously, Ali's view was being blocked, in my opinion anyway, by Griezmann. I think it was Griezmann. To get the goal, and then they just find a way back into it. But that was nervy again. But yeah, like, it was the last 20 minutes of that game or something. We were in the car, and one of the lads was driving. I'm watching it, and I was kicking off. I was going, Atleti, our bogey team, always these and all that. And when we scored, I think, yeah, he was like, "You're very passionate." Gustavo going, he's like, "Papito, you're very passionate about your team." When Van Dijk's one went in. But that felt like we had to score. We were going to score. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Atleti, that was a tough game. What did you think about the game as a whole? That second half, anyway. What did you think?
I thought a proper game in the balance. Like, the second half felt like a to me, actually, it felt like a bit of a top European tie, actually. You know, it was a little bit cagey. I thought Atletico played well, you know. I thought they played well. I thought we rode our luck a little bit, and obviously the Robbo goal, he gets a lot of luck. But hey, look, If you're the left back and you're between the posts 6 yards out, and it hits you and goes in, good luck to you. You know what I mean? That's what you want from your attacking players, to be in with a chance of scoring goals. And to be honest, he got a lot of luck with that. But in the last couple of games, he has been in there with a chance of scoring. He did against Burnley as well. So it's
With his right foot
with
when he came in, yeah.
with his right foot, yeah. So look, I think a tough game. Atletico are a good team. They've had a tough start to the season, but don't be surprised for them to pick up enough points to get through. And, I wouldn't want to play them again in the knockouts. But I wouldn't be surprised if they get there. They might have to go through that extra qualifying round, but I think
I think they'll get through. I do think they'll get through.
yeah,
They're a good enough team.
yeah,
But like that's playing us or PSG or the Real Madrid, like at this point in time, it's just, you're unfortunate, aren't you? And realistically, I don't think after last season us going that 8 games and finishing top of it and all that, I don't think it matters that much as long as you qualify.
yeah. The only difference this year is that the top 4 will get a second leg home game in the next round. I think it is.
Okay.
So there is an advantage there to finishing in the 4. Because then you're playing at Anfield in the next game rather than in the Bernabeu or whatever. But yeah, look, it's just finishing the 8, innit? Just get through the 8 and see what happens. Jack, let's talk a little bit about some news. Because it's been a big news week really for Liverpool. We woke up this morning to the news that Matt Beard, the former Liverpool women's coach, has died, mate, 47.
Yeah, it's no age, is it, man? It's incredibly sad that it makes for us, obviously, like our parents, age-wise, much difference. You go, like, there's no age, is it? To go and leave behind a family and loved ones and friends. So yeah, it put the dampener on it for me. Obviously, the big derby win last night, and then waking up and seeing news like that, just the perspective side of it, and yeah, it's very sad news. Very sad news for his friends and family, and all his ex-players and backroom staff and all that. Yeah, it's awful news.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, like, I think Jack and I will both be honest, we don't know a lot about the women's Super League and how Liverpool get on with that. But Matt was no doubt a big part of our club and that team, and he will be missed, and you never walk alone to his family, for sure. Jack, the Hillsborough law has been brought in now by the Labour Party in the UK. That is going to be absolutely, well, it's a huge legacy, isn't it? To pass on. So from what I understand of it, there will be sort of more support for victims of events like Hillsborough, Grenfell, when you're going up against the state, basically, is what's happening. And now if you're part of the state and you don't follow the rules and something bad like this happens, there will be criminal charges. There's no sort of getting away with it anymore and going off into the distance. So, I think a huge legacy, actually, for everyone associated with the football club, that through the challenges that we faced as a fan base and as a football club, we may just be able to use that to help people who are in a similar position in the future. So absolutely huge news. Jack, fancy football?
A fantasy.
I do not want to talk about it at all.
Should we skip over it?
We'll just put this in 1.5 speed or whatever, and we'll get right through it. Now,
how am I getting on?
you're not in it. You do this every time. I scroll through the list, looking for Fat Jesus, and
Fit Jesus.
yeah, but he's never there. Look, I I'm not doing great. I didn't have a great weekend again this weekend. I brought Isak in for Ekatike. What a bad decision that was. But yeah, and
Hold on. Can you remember the conversation we had last night?
no, I was
You were in,
fairly.
you were in Cheers. It was half time, and you were hammered, and you were going for a piss.
I went hammered.
Hey, Jack. You're like, Jack. What do you think's going to happen then with Isaac? I'm like, I don't know. You go, come on, Sue Money. You're like, yeah, but Ekatike is so good. I was like, yeah, it is. I'm like, but Tom, we've both said it ourselves on the podcast. There's plenty of games to be played. And you're like, yeah, it'll be all right, won't it? It'll be all right. And I was like, yeah. And then I just heard you go, room for a little one, lads. I was like, where are you? And you're like, just in the urinal.
Yeah, I'd had a few pints, hadn't I, at that point? I was only worried about getting Isak in my team. That's all I'm bothered about.
Obviously.
But look, obviously there's still games to be played this weekend, so we won't read into the fantasy too much this week. You know, as it stands, we've still got Daniel and Brian's up there now as well with Louis at the top of the league, and Corey's having a good crack at it as well. And your mate Jack is currently bottom, but there's still a long way left yet. And by
Who's bottom?
Big Rig.
Ha.
Big Rig, how are you, la?
Ha. Legend.
If only I knew a musician who could turn that into a jingle. Jacko. Southampton. We did talk about it last week, as I say. We talked about it last week with Jacob. But I think since we changed doing the podcast for the Thursday release to a Tuesday release, it sort of got all my days mixed up, but I think I'm settled into it now. Because I talked about Southampton last week, and it was like 10 days away from the game. Everyone's like, Southampton, it's miles away. But I think
the referee hadn't even been announced.
Yeah, God. You couldn't even get your match ticket yet. Absolutely crazy, man.
Oh.
Jack, League Cup, like, how serious are you taking the League Cup this season?
It's the one to knock out early in the year, innit? You know what I mean? Get all your games done, semi-finals, end of January, February, wrap it up, start of March. It's a good competition, the League Cup, to just go and wrap it up, get a trophy under your belt. I think we've got to take it seriously. I think we should take it seriously. Obviously, like you put your emphasis into the league and the Champions League, but if you can, the beautiful thing about that Carling Cup, League Cup, the English League Cup, whatever you want to call it, the Milk Cup, whatever you want to call it, is that the Papa John's. That's what it was one year, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Papa John's, was it?
Not?
Jacob
was it?
joking on it last week. He was talking about the.
The pizza driver bringing it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you want to call that trophy. Just that it's one you knock out early, and I think we can play a pretty strong team because obviously we haven't got a Champions League game for a week or two after that, have we?
Yeah. We play Crystal Palace, don't we? We play Crystal Palace on the next weekend, and then we play Galatasaray. Yeah. So we play on the 28th of September and then the 1st of October. Yeah. So we play Palace and then Galatasaray. So okay. But then the international break's coming soon as well. So yeah. So you rotate then, mate. Yeah. Bring in a couple
rotate, but give Chiesa a run in it. Rio, give him a run in it. I'll probably start Rio, Chiesa, and Isak. Let Isak get a full 90. You know what I mean? And just rotate around a bit. But like, there's no reason we shouldn't beat them. we'll put a stronger team out than they will because it's so loud where I am, and I'm so sorry. Yeah, we'll rotate. Sorry, they'll rotate because obviously they're focused on league position and whatever. It doesn't matter to us if we can bring a couple of them fringe players in and let them get a bit of game time. So yeah, I think we'll beat them. I think we'll beat them on penalties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said that.
Did you?
Yeah,
What, two weeks ago when you spoke about it?
Yeah, back in March I was talking about this game. I said 2-2 Liverpool win on pens is what I said. What are you gonna say?
Is that in the archives? Is it?
Yeah, I said it last week. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we'll beat them pretty comfortably. I'm actually 3-1, I reckon.
3-1.
3-1, yeah. Rio get a couple. Isaac gets his first Liverpool goal.
You know, before we I think Isaac will start. I think it's good to get the minutes under his belt, isn't it? My opinion on the League Cup is a bit different than yours in a way because, you know the way you said is if you're going to go out of one, this is the one to go out of, which it is, isn't it? When you look at the priority, I'm sure. You know, you'd even rather win the FA Cup than the League Cup, wouldn't you? In theory. They're both pretty much the same these days, but it's got a bit more gravitas, hasn't it?
The FA Cup's got a little bit more shine on it.
Yeah.
But my point with the League Cup is it's one you can win early. So that's why I like it.
Yeah, well...
Because it doesn't really dictate the rest of your season because you can win it early.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, for me, I always think in the League Cup, go and win it. Because if you get to the semi-final, I think the semi-finals happen in February. So at that point, you're in the league. Obviously, you've maybe played one game in the FA Cup, the third round. You're still in the Champions League, hopefully, but then you get that cup final out the way in March, and then you go into the big final weeks of the season. So I'd rather have the League Cup won, say, or get to the later stages, and then be out of the FA Cup, because going for 3 big competitions at the end of the season is really hard, and not many teams achieve it, do they?
It's too hard. No. Man City, did they win the FA Cup in that treble they won?
Yeah, it's the treble, isn't it?
Did. Yeah, the treble, yeah. But yeah, and then that killed them for 2 seasons, didn't it?
Yeah.
From going for all that. Yeah, I'd say, especially, Tom, you know what it's like, the FA Cup games, and you're like, yeah, but we're playing Barcelona in the Champions League. Like, you start prioritising that more than a semi-final, the FA Cup, which you can do. So yeah, it's the same with me. I think the FA Cup comes at the wrong time of the season. We've spoken about it before, haven't we? When that game's played, and it used to be the last game of the season you'd play, and then now it's all changed round, and it's just, the FA Cup matters less than the League Cup, in my opinion, though, unless we win it this season.
And that's more important. All right then, Jack. Next up in the Premier League is Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have started the season really well. They're currently 4th. Although by the time this podcast comes out, it might be changed because other teams around would have played. They give us a really good game in the Community Shield. They've got some really talented players, mate. Are you expecting a tough game?
I like Palace. Hey, did you see Tom Werner on that podcast?
I've seen a bit, yeah.
He was talking about Gahey.
No, I didn't see that. What was that?
Yeah, he was talking about Steve Parish. He was like, he's like my counterpart at Crystal Palace, Steve Parish. He, he's a shrewd chairman. You know, he wanted to keep hold of him, and we said okay, that is what it is. And then the host, who's a Palace fan, was like, so you're not going to go back in for him in January? And he goes, sorry, your signal cut off a little bit there. classmates. I like it when FSG start talking and you go, "Why they are normal people? Aren't
They are normal people and very,
Who do
very
care?"
shrewd businessmen, like.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, look, it feels like we've played Palace so many times recently, doesn't it? Because obviously we played them towards the end of that league title running last year. Played them in the Community Shield and we're playing them again. They're a good team, Palace. I think Gosner's got a bit of a point to prove against us as well for coming and trying to steal a centre half. And he'll be trying to show him that it's all rosy there. But yeah, I think that'll be a very tough game. I reckon that'll be the first one we've dropped points in the season as well. I can just see that being a draw.
Could be. I think the fact that, as we said, we played the League Cup a couple of days before, but it is at Anfield, isn't it? The League Cup.
Yeah.
And I'm not expecting. I mean, I'm not expecting us to play a really strong team. Although I did say on the podcast last week, I'm all for going pretty strong in every game, but rotating more, bringing players in more often rather than just play them in the cup competitions. But I do think the gaffer will rotate. I think, as you say, Chiesa will come in for that. And so, Mo and other players are going to have a break. So I expect us to have a good crack at Crystal Palace. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. I think that they will score. I think that Mateta will be a handful. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. What about you?
1-1, and it's going to be frustrating for us. It's going to get to the end of the game with fucking just hitting them over the bar, all that. But yeah, I think we'll drop points in that game.
Great. Good to know. All right, there's our predictions. Let us know on social media what your predictions are. And as we did this week, we'll read them out on the podcast next time as well. So keep an eye out for that post, which is like a white brick wall with red writing on it. And it'll have a little photo of Liverpool and a little photo of Crystal Palace. And we'll also put up my predicted 11 as well for those games as well. So keep an eye out on that and let us know what you think the teams will be. Jack, we are going to cut now to the interview I did with me ma.
How's with me ma?
Me ma. And no, it's really good fun, and I think it's really interesting. So, and considering we beat Everton in the Merseyside derby yesterday, it's very relevant as well. So, here's me and my mum. Enjoy. Kaz, last night we watched the Merseyside derby, and last week before we were gonna watch the game, in which obviously Liverpool won the game yesterday. We were we were talking about, you went to probably one of the most famous derbies in history, the 1989 FA Cup final. It was, I mean, it goes down as one of the most famous derbies ever. For people who haven't got sort of the context on it, we'll talk about it as a time, because I think that like the journey that you went on to get to the game and stuff was absolutely crazy. It is important to mention that we will be talking about Hillsborough as well in this section as well. So, but Liverpool, we'll come back to Hillsborough, but Liverpool get through the FA Cup semi-final replay, and against Nottingham Forest, I think we beat. Liverpool are on the way to Wembley. You're obviously desperate for a ticket, and it's hard to get tickets, obviously, for the cup final. As soon as Liverpool go through in the semis, are you asking around for a ticket? Like, are you planning your way to Wembley out? Like, how does it work back then?
Well, it was an extraordinary time in our lives, obviously, because of the Hillsborough tragedy, and everybody wanted to go to the cup final, and I mean everybody, people who didn't even go the match, because we were very united in grief, the whole of Merseyside, if not the country. And so yeah, it was beg, borrow or steal. So I
Emphasis on steel for a lot of people, yeah.
yeah. Oh, it was like you say, it was extraordinary. But I'd not long met your dad then, and obviously your dad, and his, how fanatical he is about Liverpool. So we actually had a laugh and a joke about, well, if I get a ticket, I'm going, and and him sort of, you won't go if there's a ticket, and I was like, yeah, we'll see how that one rolls for you, Davy boy. Anyway, so as it turned out, someone that I worked with, a guy called Ken, rang me and he said, if you want a ticket, our Graham's got a ticket, but it's in the Everton end. So your first thing is, right, so, okay, how brave am I, But because of the tragedy, my thought on that was, well, it won't matter. It won't matter because where you are in that ground, And it was a game that was very much needed. Like the whole Merseyside needed that game. We needed something, yeah. So it was like it was fate, really. I think that Liverpool and Everton got to that final because it was something that had to happen. We had to be brought together. So anyway, I wait for your dad to ring. No mobiles then, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna go down. Great, like. Anyway, so but I'm telling everyone, got myself a ticket, and they're like just made up. Anyway, so I tell him on the phone, and he was just really quiet, and I was like, and he was like, yeah, great, yeah, and are you going? No, Dave, I'm going to give you the ticket. Of course I am, babe. Anyway, that was the end of that. So then it was like, well, I'm on my own, and I don't know. Everyone was going the game, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. So Dave's uncle Mick, who was legendary, as you know, massive red, said, I'll get you a lift, I'll get you to the game, make sure you're looked after and all that, So anyway, there was a gang going from Breck Road.
All right, before we move on, give me some context for people in Australia. What's Breck Road like?
I'm trying to think of a road like it in Australia, and I can't.
I've never been on one like it.
No, so I've got to say, people are, it's a deprived area, but people are salt of the earth there, but it's up there, I suppose, where you've got deprivation and crime and things like that, but
people are streetwise.
Very streetwise, yeah.
Like that's the best way of saying it. People have got to be streetwise. They've got to look after themselves.
Much more streetwise than me growing up, and that's probably because of my mum. My mum was quite strict on what she let us do or wouldn't do. So anyway, so Mick come and picked me up, and he took me to this pub called the Willow Bank, and anyone who knows Liverpool will know the Willow Bank. So I get there about 9 o'clock in the morning, and the pub's absolutely bursting. I don't think it opened until 11. But anyway, everyone's on it, and having a bevy and what have you. And then I find out that I'm going in a van, one other female, and all the rest of lads, going the game. So I'm like, so where am I sitting? And, well, I'm in the back of the van, aren't I? Just,
Are you saying what, like the seats in the van?
No.
Or are you talking like a painter and decorator van where you're in the back?
Just a van, and he'd thrown loads of cushions in there, and yeah, we just that's what we took a turn in sitting in the front seat with the driver, and and that's how we went, and it was one of the most incredible journeys of my life. It was just amazing. So we set off. There must have been about 10 other cars that left from there, and some of them were carrying all of the alcohol, some of them might have been carrying other things. I'm not sure what the other things were in those vehicles that day. But anyway,
Paraphernalia.
could
Is
have
that what
been-
you're saying?
Could have been paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Yes. Not that I observed anything or seen anything. It was just a feeling I had. Anyway, so anyway, we set off, and then we had like a bit of a strategic route planned, you know, where we were going to stop, and then everywhere we stopped was just this sea of red and blue. It was just like walking around Liverpool. The crack, as they say, was just phenomenal. It was hilarious, you know. I've never seen so many drunk people by, say, 2:00 in the afternoon. It was, you know. So yeah, I think we went on the Friday. The game was on the Saturday, and then we came home, I think, on the Monday. So we had the full weekend in London. There was people hanging out of car windows. There was, you know, I don't know how many times we sang every single Liverpool song, the crack, the banter we had with the Evertonians. Yeah, it was fierce, but it was amazing. Yeah, it was extraordinary.
So you get to Wembley. What do you do? Did you go down Wembley Way? It's called International Way now. Did you go down there? What was the crack like down there?
Oh, just, you know, flags and banners everywhere, and what was really like, it's just like the derby, you know, you've got half a dozen reds in a sea of blues, and vice versa, you know. So and that's how it was. And I even after the game, it was like there was loads of Evertonians with us who came and partied with us, you know, and like we give them hell, like, you know what I mean? We made them pay. But yeah, and I don't know whether that's ever happened before or it'll ever happen again, you know.
Yeah, like people have said to me before over here, you know, we did a podcast with Curtis, you know, the United fan.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if you've seen that one.
Yeah,
You watch all the podcasts, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
I have to.
Yeah, we get one view. And he said about Liverpool and Everton, you know, he said, oh, it's the friendly derby. And I said, no, it's not. It's not. It's a massive misconception. And I think a lot of the misconception comes from that cup final after Hillsborough. You know, when I seen the footage of it, obviously I was born a year later, but when I seen the footage, I seen Jerry singing "You Never Walk Alone," and the Liverpool and Everton fans are swaying together, and the crowd are singing "Merseyside, Merseyside." You know, like I doubt we'll ever get that again. And you know, we had an occasion when young Reece got shot, and they played Zed Cars at Anfield, and you know, that was a special thing in itself for a very special occasion. But it's rare that the rivalry between the two is just completely put to bed for a period. The game itself, John Aldridge scored.
Yeah, first goal. Minutes in, like
Early on.
Yeah, so when we were going into the ground, believe it or not, I actually got crushed. Yeah, given, you know, we just had Hillsborough, everyone goes mental, what are you doing? And people were screaming at the police, you know, sort it out and separate, and you know, managing crowds is an envious task for anyone, but they still didn't have it right, you know. It was so anyway. So I'm in the Everton end anyway. So I sit down, loads and loads of reds in the Everton end, because it was just, you know, wherever you could get a ticket. So I'm sitting in the midst of all these guys, and they're like, "You'll be all right, girl. We'll look after you, you know, even though you're one of them," and all that, you know. And so we got in way early because we wanted to see Jerry and, you know, all the build up and all that, you know. And then so we're all having a good, you know, good banter, good crack. It's really great fun. We're all singing. There's the emotions really, really high. And then obviously Johnny Aldridge comes and, minutes in, scores. So I jumped on this fella, kissed him. And he's like, that, get off me, girl, get off. And I'm like, oh, and all the Reds are just going mental. And he's like, calm it down, girl. And, and I was like, hang on a minute, you were all my mates before, and now you're not my mates, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, yeah, and then Rush puts another, I think they scored like 20 minutes later or something like that. It wasn't long.
It was McCall, wasn't it? Stu McCall,
yeah.
And then Rushy scores in extra time.
Yeah, but when they scored, when Stuart scored, he picked me up, this guy, and he did the same to me, and I'm like smacking him on the head.
Police!
It was like, okay. So there was a lot of that going on, you know what I mean? But I didn't see or hear any trouble, or, and even the house we stayed in, when I say stayed in, I use that word loosely, because we were all lying on the floor, basically. And there must have been about 20 of us, 25 of us. And no blankets, no sleeping bags, nothing. We just laid on the floor, But we didn't care, it was just like, and, we were running into like your Tesco or whatever, just getting bits of food or and stuff like that, for brekkie. And then we were back in the pub, so I think sobriety probably lasted while you were asleep, and then while you were awake, you were drinking again. But it was just unbelievable. And then I can't even remember where we stayed. But there was people coming in and out of that house. It was like Euston Station. It was like, oh, all right, and like the people who was with knew everybody. It was like, and then coming out of the game, they said to me, this is where we're going to meet, like, again, no mobiles and things like that. And then I'm thinking, there's not a chance I'm going to find them. There's just thousands of people, and even people who hadn't had tickets had gone, just for the atmosphere and all that.
Well, I think at that time, yeah, it would have been, what, 100,000 people at Wembley at that time.
Yeah.
And to people who've not been to Wembley, it's a pain in the ass getting out of Wembley.
Yeah, it's hard, yeah.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Because most people are just going one way, aren't they?
Yeah. But I did find them, and I found them because there was this guy who'd lived for 3 days, basically, with a big Liverpool massive banner around him. And this, what's them hats called? Like, not the...
Bucket hats?
Like, yeah, the bucket hat. Yeah, it's one of them on. And he just constantly had this little song going, like, check it in, check it out, check it in, check it out. And I didn't really get what all that was about, but that was his little vibe. And he was a very happy young man. And I don't know why he was very happy, but he was very happy.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm walking down, and next thing I can hear, check it in, check it out. And I go, I know where I live. I think his name was Jay or something like that. And then, so then we all met, and then we went out. I think it was the Old Kent Road, somewhere like that. And we basically conquered, like, Reds and Blues, in and out of pubs, and yeah, we were doing shots. Oh my God, it was just crazy. It was unbelievable atmosphere, like, and I think when I got home, I was in bed for about a week. I got really bad tonsillitis. I was like, and my mum was like, what were you doing there? And I was like, you must have been drinking a lot. And I was like, no, not really. Everyone else was, Mum. I was like, oh, yeah.
And then what was my dad like with you when he got back?
I mean, to be fair, like, he was absolutely made up that I went. And he'll always be gutted that he didn't get there and what have you. But, yeah, just like wanting to know about the atmosphere and, was it looked after and, but everyone who was with knew Mick and knew your dad. So there was no way I was going to be left or not looked after. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you were with his people, weren't you?
His people, yeah.
And you know what? I will say this about me dad. Like we give him some shit. Like, but yeah. Anytime I come out of a game or I've been away in Europe with Adam or down to London or whatever, when I got off the ground, he was always the first call I wanted to make.
Yeah.
Because I knew he wanted to know.
Yeah.
What was it like in this? What was that like? And
Yeah.
that was never a pen. That like it looked like a pen, but it wasn't, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
He was always great, and I know he must have been jealous as well at some other points. Mum, thanks so much. That was really interesting.
You're very welcome.
Get that fucking tea on.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Mum. All right, Jack. Thanks so much, mate, for coming on this week. Thanks so much for coming on this week. And thanks to everyone for listening as well. It's been a great one for me getting to talk to my brother and getting to talk to my mum and to meet everyone in Cheers Bar was fantastic as well. The Reds continue to plough on. And look, 5 wins from 5. Let's see how long we can make this last. What do you reckon, Jack?
Things can only get better, mate.
So that's all we got time for. Up the Jimmy Kimmel Reds.
Up the Jimmy Kimmel Reds.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.